Hello and welcome to Tiffany's Tiny Things. As you saw in the thumbnail, in today's video, we are making Kpop Demon Hunters Huntrix. If you haven't heard about this movie, I don't know what to tell you. It's like Netflix's most watched movie ever. I just love it. I love the plot, the characters, the music, everything. Even my husband loves it. If you haven't watched it yet, I really recommend you do. And if you have watched it and by any chance you didn't like it, goodbye. I'm just joking. Maybe you will like this video anyway, because it's a tutorial on how to repaint Barbie dolls. This is the type of doll I chose for Huntrix today. I thought that Barbies would be a good match for them. If you have other ideas, please let me know in the comments if you would like to see me make them with other types of dolls, other characters, or have any ideas at all. Please let me know. I really enjoy reading your comments and I always try to respond to them. And so I think we should get started. So because I've never made 3 dolls at the same time before, I made this kind of ugly sketch on my iPad before just to see how I want the outfits to look. Because I don't want the outfits to be exact copies from the movie, more like inspired by the movie. So I took inspiration specifically from the Golden song and their outfits. Here are the dolls that I will be using. The tennis player body with these heads. And I used the Fashionista 214 and 224. Also the blue-haired mermaid with the Odile head. All of these 3 dolls match in skin color with the tennis player body, so that's good to know. We'll start with removing the heads, and I just dunked the heads in boiling water, and I chose to do this with a plastic bag over them so they stay dry afterwards. Here we have the 3 heads, and we'll start with cutting off all of their hair because they're almost good in color but not really, so I will start with cutting off all of this brown hair. And I initially thought that this pink hair for Mira was kind of good, but I will remove it later because I realized that the hair is such bad quality that you can't heat it up with anything. It will just melt and it's bad. Just remove it, okay? It's bad. And I did a little melt test on the other 2 as well. It just melts right off. In comparison, I will show you this Kanekalon hair that I usually use for dolls, and I always flat iron it because it's a little bit crimped, and as you see, it doesn't melt. It's perfect. So we'll continue with removing all of the hair from all of the 3 heads like this. I first cut it off with the scissors and then I just scrape out the inside with a plier. And here we have Zoey, Rumi and Mira in that order. Now I will prepare the heads for the rerouting. Here you have the hairs that I will be using. For Zoey it's Kanekalon, and for Rumi and Mira it's vinyl. Those colors are just perfect. So we'll start with painting the scalps with a color that matches the hair. So for Mira, we'll paint her head this pink color. It's just regular acrylics. And then I'll start with the rerouting. And when the head is fully rooted, I just put a lot of fabric glue inside of the head and swish it around and squeeze the head so it really spreads around on all of the plugs. Then I just continue with the other 2 heads the same way, and it took 5,000 years. And then when we have glued all of the 3 heads, I'll let them dry for a couple of days at least before we attach the heads on the bodies. Now all of the heads are done, the glue is dried, so we can start placing the heads on their new bodies. So here we have 3 tennis players and we will remove their heads. This time I actually use a hairdryer. It works just as well. And if you're not planning on keeping their hair because it will melt, it's fine. We'll just save them for later. And I always trim off the neck peg a little bit because now there's a lot more hair inside the head. So to make room for the peg, we need to trim it. And now I'll just start with removing their original face paints with acetone. And I tried and tried and I scrubbed. And oh my god, that face paint is on there. So yeah, it took a long time with pure acetone. So yeah, Mattel, what are you doing? It's so much tougher than like Monster High dolls. I don't know. It was a struggle. But let's leave the faces for now and start making their outfits. And I'm going to start making Rumi's boots. I will have this Barbie training shoe as a base. I'm going to glue these pieces of fake leather on top. I'll just cut off some excess pieces from the shoes first. I just cleaned them off with some alcohol so that the glue will stick really nicely on them. And I actually use fabric glue for this because, I don't know, I think it works best. It dries fast, but not too fast, if you know what I mean. I like it. And then I just repeat that on the second shoe. And there we have some really nice looking boots, I think. And now I'm just gonna glue on a little black ribbon around the edge so we have a nice little trim around. And then I just mark out where I want the shoelaces to be and I just stitch it in with a needle. I actually later changed this to a golden thread because I realized that looks better. And off camera, I just took these regular Barbie shoes and painted them with acrylics for Zoey and Mira. For extra detail, I will glue these little golden chains on top, like this. And they are done. And for their clothes, I will start with making their little tops. And for Mira, I actually just made this very simple tube top out of stretchy white cotton fabric. For Zoey and Rumi, I will make some, I don't know, it's not elaborate, but a little bit more elaborate tops like this. So it's basically just a front and a back that I will attach together. Because of the edges being so small, I hand stitch them. And with that we have Zoey's top, and now we'll just fold it inside out so we have the right side out, and it looks really good. And for Rumi, I basically did the same top but with a smaller neckline and an opening in the back. And using very thinly cut strips of fake leather, I will make some details for the tops. As you see here, I made first a choker for Mira, and I will attach it to her top using these strips. As always, I'm using fabric glue because I think that works the best for this. And the little rings you see I'm using here are actually for jewelry making. You can buy them in like different sizes and stuff, so very versatile for dolls. So here we have Mira's top. Because she is a little bit edgy and cool, I thought she would fit this look the best. And for Rumi's top, I decided that she needed some gold thread details around the neckline and down in the front. And I also attached this little golden ring on the front. Then I basically do the same with these fake leather strips, just kind of in a different pattern. I try some things out. I didn't like really how this look. Then I did kind of the same thing with Zoey's top, just in different kinds of patterns, I guess. And now it's time for Rumi's short shorts. I have these pattern pieces I just cut out of the fake leather fabric, the same as we've been using before. Then I attach these little strips of Velcro with some fabric glue and let them dry completely. Here I added a little golden belt. Actually, these aren't the shorts we will see in the end because I thought they were a little bit too long, so I redid them a little bit shorter. It's basically the same, just a little bit shorter. And as you can see, I also attach some golden chains for the full look from the movie, inspired by the movie outfit. You know what I mean. And here you can see I changed Rumi's top a little bit because I didn't like how it looked before. So here are the new stripes. Now I need to experiment a little bit. I have the stretchy fake leather fabric and we are going to test to take some fabric glue and sprinkle it with this black glitter. And also test some regular white glue and sprinkle the same glitter on top. And now we'll see. Well, with the fabric glue, it's still stretchy, and with the white glue, it's not. So now we are going to use the fabric glue. So it's time for the jacket, and here are the pattern pieces for that. Yeah, I just cut out all of the pieces and sew them together like this. And here we have the finished jacket. As you see, I made the shoulders a little bit oversized because I kind of wanted that shoulder pad look. Now we are going to test out the glue and glitter method. So I've never done this before, so it's highly experimental, but we'll try it. Just one section at a time. I cover with the fabric glue, then sprinkle the glitter, and then take the next section and so on, and just let that dry. And here we have the 3 finished jackets, and yes, I made them exactly the same, but we are going to make them a little bit different later. So I have this golden ribbon thingy that I'm going to glue on the jacket, and I use the same fabric glue as before and just glue it wherever I think it will look good. As I said before, I am taking inspiration from the actual movie outfit, so I'm looking at Rumi's jacket in the Golden Song and try to kind of mimic that pattern of chains and golden details on her shoulder pads. As you see, I carefully add these very thin golden chains and also this a little bit thicker one around like this. And fabric glue is your friend. It's okay. It's not cheating. It's fine. Just use it. Rumi's jacket is a little bit asymmetrical, so we are going to do the other side a little bit different later. Now it's time for Mira's and Zoey's skirts. And as you see, I do a little slit here for Mira. And 2 slits for Zoey. And inside these slits, I will add this golden fabric with some nice patterns on it. And I do the same thing on both skirts. Then I stitch all of the edges so they look nice, like this. And now I add a Velcro in the back. And as you see, I also added a ribbon that goes in between the legs, so it doesn't run up too high on her waist. And I add the same type of details to the skirts with the golden chain and these little golden hoops and this golden ribbon, just for added detail. And here we have Zoey's skirt. And we do kind of the same thing with Mira's skirt, but in a different pattern, you could say. Also, she is getting this waistband with this wider golden ribbon thing. And that's that. And of course, Huntrix needs their weapons. So I 3D printed their weapons in this clear resin with a few drops of blue tint so that they kind of have this glassy crystal look, I guess. And now I just glue the pieces together with some UV resin and I cure it under the UV light. And here I just strengthen the pieces with some plastic inside. I don't know if it worked, but yeah, I did it anyway. And here we have Rumi's sword. And as you see, I used a flexible resin mixed with the regular, so it won't break as easily. It's kind of flexible. I like that. And I do the same thing with Mira's staff axe thing. I don't know, what do you call it? It's not a sword, it's something. And I also 3D printed their shoulder armor pads thingies. They are not supposed to be clear, but you know, while we were at it. So just do a base coat on all of them before the gold. And I also do the weapons at the same time with the base coat of black. Of course, just the parts that are going to be gold. The clear parts we leave clear. And when the base coat is dry, I paint all the gold bits with gold. And now they are all painted and done, and when they are dry I will spray them with some glossy varnish. And here you see them sprayed and finished. I think they look amazing. And now we can go ahead and glue all the shoulder armor together. And then I realized that this particular part of this shoulder pad is actually solid gold, so I just repainted that and forget everything you saw before. Bye. And now I'm going to start the tassel factory because Zoey's knives and the shoulder pieces all have like 1 million tassels. So I just make them out of this golden thread and it took forever, I'm not gonna lie. But in the end it looks really good and I'm very happy with it. And I honestly don't know how you would do this like easier or faster, but you know, here's the result. And then I do the same thing. I add the tassels to the shoulder pieces. And just to get the right shape of the tassels so they don't just stick right out, I use this diluted white glue. I dilute it with water and just gently brush it on the tassels so that they get a more natural shape. Now it's finally time for the face up. As usual, I always start with a layer of Mr. Superclear UV flat on the face so that the watercolor pencils have something to grab onto. I always start sketching out the face features with some light colors with the watercolor pencils, and then I go in with the deeper and richer colors as I go. And when I am happy with one layer, I just seal that in with Mr. Superclear once again and continue like that. And for some blushing, I use soft pastels on her cheeks. And then I also use some to deepen the color on her lips and also for her eyeshadow. And then I want her to have a golden eyeliner. So I have these watercolor metallic colors that I use for that. And then I go in with the acrylic paints and I start with the whites of the eyes and the brown in her iris. and also some dark brown on her eyeliner. And I always finish with the black because that's the darkest. And then I remembered that Zoey actually has freckles, so I added them with some watercolor pencils. Then I did the shadow in her eyes with some gray pencil. And I didn't like that, so I redid it with acrylics. And then I finish her face with some mica powder, some glittery mica powder, and also the little white shine in her eye. Then I finish her with some glossy varnish on her eyes and lips. And then she's done. For Mira, the process is basically the same, but instead of like browns and grays, I use pink colors instead to match her hair. I just go in with the darker and darker pinks. And for the eyeliner, I use this bark color. And it was actually pretty fun to make them all three at the same time because they have so different facial features. Like Mira has these really thin and high eyebrows, and I really like making them like that, and her eyes are totally different. So yeah, it was really fun making them. And we do the blushing the same way, but with a little bit colder pink this time. And the eyeshadow is also pink. And a little bit of the purple too. And she also gets the same gold eyeliner. And then it's the same thing with the acrylics. First the white, then the browns, and last the black. So which one of the girls is your favorite in the movie? I don't know, I like them all, but maybe Mira is my favorite because she's just so cool. Do you have any favorite characters? I really like the tiger, but also Genu, of course. I hope Genu comes back. I really do. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about the movie? Would you like to see more movies? What are your thoughts about this? And with some final glitter and gloss on Mira, she is also done. And finally, it's Rumi time. And I do exactly the same process here. Mr. Superclear, watercolor pencils, go in with the light colors and go in darker and darker as I go. I expected actually Rumi's features to be kind of the easiest to make, but it wasn't. I thought that Rumi was kind of the hardest to get to look like Rumi, if you know what I mean. I think I got it in the end, but yeah, it was actually harder than I thought. What do you think? Do they look like the characters in the movie? I mean, I did stylize them a little bit. I didn't make them like copies deliberately, so yeah. But I mean, I wanted to catch their essences, you know? So yeah, let me know what you think. I do think I nailed it with the O-dial face sculpt for Rumi because I really think that she has the same kind of facial features or facial form. Or let me know if you have other face sculpt that you think would fit Rumi or the other girls better. I would really like to know if you have other ideas, but I think I picked some good ones. And Rumi also gets a lot of mica powder glitter on her face, and in the end some glossy varnish on the eyes and lips. And with that, Rumi is done. It's time for the hair, and if you've ever done some doll hair, you know how awkward it is. And yeah, I think this is kind of the best way of doing it. Just pinch the doll between your legs and style it. I thought that Zoey's micro bangs would be kind of difficult to do, but if you just have heat-resistant hair that doesn't melt, you're fine. You can use the flat iron and push it down and it looks great. Now I'm just gonna decorate decorate it with some golden chain, and it's done. And Mira's hair was actually the easiest to make because I basically just made 2 ponytails at the top and left kind of half the head loose underneath. You see, I added some little gold hoops to the ponytails, and then I just cut off the excess at the ends. And then I cut off the strands in the front also. And then I style it a little bit with some hair gel. And she's done. And now it's time for Rumi's hair. I didn't film the whole process here because I had to redo it like a couple of times. I'm not gonna lie, it took like hours. Just check out YouTube videos on how to make a fake Dutch braid. And that's basically how I did it. I think it turned out really good. It's a very thick braid, but you know, it's movie accurate, I guess. She has very thick hair. And yeah, now that we have the braid, I'm just gonna decorate it with some hair accessories, I guess. So I have this little golden chain at the end. I'm just gonna sew it in place with some golden thread. And then I add these little golden, also for jewelry making. I don't know what they're called, but they're little thingies. I just sew them in the hair. It turned out so good. I really love it. And now the only thing left is for the girls to get some earrings done. Rumi gets her ears pierced. And also some bracelets. And as a final touch, I paint their nails gold, and then they are all ready for their beauty shots. Thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and push the bell button so you don't miss any upcoming videos. And a big thank you to all of my Patreons. If you would like to be a patron of mine, you find a link for that down below this video. These dolls are for sale in my Etsy shop. You also find a link for that below the video. Unfortunately for my American friends, I'm so sorry, but because of these new tariff rules, I can't ship to America at the time being. Our postal services completely cut off all packages to America. I hope this will be resolved very quickly, but don't worry, I really want to make more Huntrix dolls, so you will probably get your chance later anyways. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye!